Welcome to the Rare Sats podcast, where we uncover Bitcoin's best-kept secrets, rare Satoshis. Every episode, we dive into these hidden digital treasures, exploring their value, their history, and why collectors are obsessed. Whether you're here to learn or looking to collect, we'll give you the insights you need to stay ahead in the crypto game. Ready to join the hunt? Hit subscribe, and let's dive in.
I'm thrilled to be here. This is a wild world we're diving into today. I bet most people think of Bitcoin as this big, expensive thing, but did you know there's a whole market for collecting tiny fractions of it?
You're talking about rare sats, right?
Yeah.
I admit the idea of collecting something that's basically a fraction of a penny is a little mind-boggling. But then I heard about an epic Satoshi selling for over $2 million recently, and that definitely piqued my interest.
That sale really shook things up. Okay, so let's break this down for our listener. Imagine you have a dollar, but instead of 100 cents, it's divided into 100 million tiny pieces. Each of those pieces is a Satoshi, the smallest unit of Bitcoin. Most sats are just, sats. But some have unique qualities that make them way more valuable than their face value.
Like finding a misprinted penny worth thousands, right?
Yeah.
So what makes a Satoshi rare? Is it like those early Bitcoin that people forgot about in old hard drives?
That's part of it. The timing of a Satoshi's creation definitely matters. The earlier a Satoshi was mined, the rarer it is simply because fewer existed back then. But it's not just about age. Imagine a baseball card collection. Your basic cards are common, star players are uncommon, rookie cards are rare. And then you have a signed Babe Ruth card that's like an epic Satoshi, tied to a major event, a piece of history.
Okay, I'm starting to get the baseball card analogy.
Yeah.
So how do we know which sats are Babe Ruth level? There must be some system for ranking them, right?
There is. It's called the Road Armor Rarity Index. Think of it as the official rulebook for rare sat collectors. This index looks at when a Satoshi was mined in relation to big Bitcoin events.
Like those Bitcoin halvings everyone's always talking about, when the rate of new Bitcoin creation gets cut in half.
Exactly. Those halving are like turning points in Bitcoin's history, so the first Satoshi mined after each one is super valuable. That's your epic Satoshi. And just like with our baseball cards, there are other levels of rarity too.
So walk me through those levels. Help our listener understand the rarity hierarchy.
You got it. So most Satoshis are common. Think of those as your basic baseball cards, nothing special. Then you have uncommon sats, which are the first Satoshi mined in every new block. A new block is added to the Bitcoin blockchain roughly every 10 minutes, so that makes them somewhat scarce, but still pretty easy to come by.
Kind of like those star player cards that everyone wants, but they're not impossible to find.
Perfect analogy. Next up are the rare sats. These are like those rookie cards. They're the first Satoshi mined after the Bitcoin network adjusts its mining difficulty. This happens periodically to keep the network running smoothly, so it's a less frequent event than a new block being mined.
Okay, I'm following so far common, uncommon, rare. And then we hit the epic level, right? The Babe Ruth autographed card.
You got it. Epic sats are those first Satoshis mined after a halving event, those big milestones in Bitcoin's history. Since halvings only happen every 4 years or so, these are super rare. In fact, there are only 4 in existence right now.
Wow, only 4. That explains the crazy price tag. And you mentioned there are even rarer types beyond epic.
Oh yeah, we're talking ultra rare territory now. There are legendary sats, which are the first ones mined after every 6 halving events, basically.
Yeah.
One is created every 24 years. Bitcoin hasn't even been around that long yet, so we're still waiting for the first one.
That's amazing. A Satoshi that's created once a generation. So what's the rarest Satoshi of them all?
That would be the mythic Satoshi, the very first one ever mined, part of Bitcoin's Genesis block. It's like the Honus Wagner T206 card of rare sats, one of a kind, a piece of history that would be practically priceless.
So basically, if you find a mythic Satoshi in your digital wallet, you've hit the jackpot. But I'm guessing those are basically impossible to come by.
You could say that, but here's where it gets even more interesting. There are rare sats that go beyond the Road Armor Index, called exotic sats. They derive their value from unique stories, events, or even patterns in their ID numbers that aren't tied to the halving cycles or difficulty adjustments.
Okay, now you're really piquing my curiosity. What are some examples of these exotic sats? I'm ready for some wild stories.
Oh, we've got some incredible ones. You've got sats from the very first Bitcoin transaction, sats that might be tied to the first Bitcoin trade for an image. We even have pizza sats.
Pizza sats? Wait, tell me more about those. I love pizza and I love a good story, so this has my full attention.
Okay, get this. Back in 2010, a guy bought 2 pizzas using Bitcoin. Sounds pretty normal now, right? But back then, it was one of the first real-world Bitcoin purchases ever.
Whoa, hold on. We're talking about the legendary pizza purchase, right?
Yeah.
The one that cost 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. I always hear about that, but I never thought about what happened to those specific Bitcoin.
Exactly. Those Bitcoin, or rather the Satoshis that made them up, are now known as pizza sats. And if you own one, you basically own a piece of Bitcoin folklore.
That's amazing. So someone out there is holding on to sats that were involved in one of the most iconic Bitcoin transactions ever. It makes you wonder what other historical treasures are hidden within the blockchain.
Oh, there are so many. We've got Block 9 sats, which come from one of the earliest mined blocks and first transaction sats, from the very first Bitcoin transaction between Satoshi Nakamoto, Bitcoin's mysterious creator, and Hal Finney, a prominent early developer.
Imagine owning a Satoshi that passed through Satoshi's digital hands. That would be like owning a piece of the internet's history.
Right. And then there are Block 78 sats. This block was special because it was the first one mined by someone other than Satoshi, marking a crucial point where Bitcoin started to become more decentralized.
It's incredible how each of these sats represents a little piece of Bitcoin's evolution. It's almost like holding a digital time capsule in your wallet. But what about those exotic sats with unique ID numbers that you mentioned? Those sound intriguing.
Oh, those are fun. We've got palindrome sats, where the Satoshi's ID number reads the same backward and forward, like 12321 or 45654. It's like finding a four-leaf clover in the blockchain.
Those sound so cool. I can see why collectors would love to snag those. Are there other numerical patterns people are looking for?
You bet. There are palinception sats, which are palindromes within palindromes. So not only is the entire ID a palindrome, but it's made up of smaller palindromes too. And then for the ultimate pattern enthusiast, there are palindrome sats, which are even more complex and symmetrical.
Whoa, that's next level. It sounds like there's a whole secret society of rare Satoshi code breakers out there.
Yeah.
But with so many different types of rare sats, how do people even keep track of them all?
Yeah.
And how do you actually go about buying or selling them?
Well, thankfully, we've got platforms like Magic Eden that have become a hub for rare sat collectors. They've got a marketplace where you can buy, sell, and trade all sorts of rare sats, and they've even incorporated many of these community-driven classifications into their system.
So it's kind of like eBay for rare sats.
Exactly. It's made it much easier for people to connect, trade, and really dive into the fascinating world of Satoshi collecting.
I'm curious, have you ever purchased a rare sat yourself?
Actually, I have. I managed to snag a Block 9 450X sat a few months back. It's from one of the first Bitcoin mined in Block 9 by Satoshi Nakamoto himself. It's not the rarest sat out there, but it's a tangible piece of Bitcoin history that I'm proud to own.
That's so cool. I can only imagine how exciting it must be to own a Satoshi that was mined by Satoshi. What about you? Have any rare sats caught your eye? Honestly, they all sound so fascinating. I think I'm drawn to those pizza sats. The story behind them is just so absurd, and I love the idea of owning a piece of that legendary transaction.
I totally get it. It's a great conversation starter, right? Imagine casually mentioning at a party, oh, this little digital thing, yeah, it's from the pizza that cost 10,000 Bitcoin. People would be mind blown.
Exactly. But seriously, though, all this stuff about rare sats, does it actually matter? I mean, beyond just being a fun thing to collect.
That's the million Satoshi question, isn't it?
Don't leave me hanging.
It's tricky. Right now, it's mostly about speculation. People hoping these sats will be worth a fortune someday. The history, the scarcity, the cool factor, it all adds up.
So like a digital gold rush, everyone hoping to strike it rich.
Kinda, yeah. But it goes deeper than that. The real game changer here is NFTs. On the Bitcoin blockchain, no less.
Wait, hold on. NFTs? On Bitcoin? I thought that was an Ethereum thing.
Yeah, it used to be. But things are changing, my friend. Ordinals are shaking things up.
Ordinal.
It's a protocol. Basically, it lets you attach an NFT to a Satoshi, like permanently.
So it's like proof of ownership.
Yeah.
For a specific Satoshi.
Exactly. Instead of just saying, I have a pizza sat, you can prove it. Buy it, sell it, trade it, the whole 9 yards.
Whoa. So it's like giving these rare sats a real value.
You got it. Because now you're not just buying the Satoshi, you're buying the whole story that comes with it, backed by an NFT. This is huge, man. We're talking about a whole new way to think about digital ownership.
This is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
It's like we're giving historical value to bits of code. And it's only just getting started, right?
Yeah.
So where do we go from here? If this is just the beginning, I mean.
Right. That's the billion Satoshi question, isn't it? We're talking about like a whole new era of digital ownership. And it's all tied to Bitcoin, to the history of it all.
Okay, yeah. It's like we're trying to put a price tag on history itself, but like in the digital world.
Yeah.
Who knows what that'll even look like in a few years? It's kind of exciting.
It is exciting, and that's what's so cool about all this. It's uncharted territory. But think about it this way. We already think the first email ever sent is valuable, right? And that's just ones and zeros, basically. What's to say these rare sats won't be the same?
You're blowing my mind again. So it's not about, like, how useful something is anymore. It's about the story behind it, the journey it took to get here.
Exactly. And as we move into the metaverse, digital ownership, scarcity, it's going to be huge. Owning a Nakamoto sat could be like owning a piece of the original internet.
That's insane. I'm never going to look at these little fractions of Bitcoin the same way again. So for everyone listening who's now thinking, wait, do I have any rare sats?
Here's the thing. Don't go betting the farm just yet. It's still early days. This whole market, it's a bit of a gamble, to be honest.
So speculation city.
For now, yeah. But the big takeaway is the way we think about value, it's changing. And that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating to watch.
Totally. We went from what's a rare sat to what is value in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a successful deep dive in my book.
I'd say so.
Thanks for exploring with us, everyone. Maybe one day we'll be talking about your rare Satoshi collection. Until next time.